Fred Staab and Les Jackson. You know, we thought the reveals would slow down Les Jackson, but they haven't.
Nope.
We've got plenty to talk about coming up on Cruise Control, including, believe it or not, a vehicle that starts at $24,000 from Buick. It's called the Envista. We'll tell you about it, right?
That's a bargain. And all over at Kia, the Stinger is going away, but it's going to go away in style.
Yeah, they're going to have a tribute edition. We'll tell you what the first lucky 1,000 will get with that vehicle. And then here's some interesting information. If you're out to buy a vehicle, what are the most recalled brands in the auto industry?
Probably shouldn't buy one of those.
It's one that we talk about often, but
we certainly do.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that, and we're going to talk tech. Everyone's bringing out big screens in their vehicles, and where do you put them? Well, what if the thing rolled up on a series of rollers, unrolled like a window shade, and Hyundai Mobis, which is their technology group, is coming up with just that, where it will retract. I think this could be great for TVs as well.
I just don't know about that.
Yeah, it's one thing that Les would say, that's nice, but it will break. I like when you say that.
Well, it'll break eventually, but I have to see one in person.
And then Polestar brings out their 4, and it's missing something that virtually every car has, and this does not have.
Steering wheel?
No, it's got one of those. It's not missing the cladding either. Apparently, cladding.
Not missing the cladding.
Making a big comeback. I guess,
Yes.
We saw it on the Subaru Crosstrek Wilderness Edition, and
yeah,
it seems like it's making a big
not
comeback.
my favorite kind of decoration, but.
And in the second hour, we're going to talk about the Lincoln Navigator, a screen from side to side. It is full width of the dashboard. We'll talk about that.
5.
And we'll be right back.
This is Cruise Control. Your on-air automotive magazine with co-hosts Fred Staab and Les Jackson. Everything you need to know about new and used cars. Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air. Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin. Because you're on Cruise Control. Cruise Control. Cruise Control.
That's right. It's about to start. It has started. Welcome to Cruise Control. I'm Fred Staab. This is your on-air automotive magazine, Cruise Control. And joining me, as always, is none other than Les Jackson. Hello, Les.
Hello, Fred. It's a pretty day so far, but the East Coast is going to get rained on before the end of the day. It doesn't matter because we're inside for one thing, but secondly, we have enough to talk about with all the new vehicles, starting with Buick.
Yeah, we're going to start with Buick, and the new reveals keep on coming. This is the Buick Envista. This is a crossover that starts around $24,000. We'll tell you a little bit about it. Who said you couldn't buy a car for under $50,000?
That's really an attractive price. And over at Kia, the Stinger, which has been popular, certainly a good car.
Yeah.
It's going away. It's because it's not an SUV. But
that's right.
But it's going off in style with a tribute edition, and we'll tell you how you can get one.
Yeah, and you better act fast because I believe there's only 1,000 of them. But one thing you might want to act fast from is running from vehicles that get recalled a lot. We're going to have the list of the most recalled brands in the auto industry. If you're going out to buy a vehicle, factor it in, right?
That is right. We're calling this our We Told You So edition. And we're going to have talking tech, which we always love to do. Imagine a roll-up retractable screen. You know, like the screens your parents or grandparents used to use to show slides.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
That's a good
the big
analogy.
thing on a tripod. So it would be there for your infotainment system in your vehicle. I have my concerns about this, but we'll talk about it.
This is technology Les says is really cool, but it's going to break. I remember you describing a lot.
That's right.
This looks great, but it's going to
That's
break. Right. And we're going to talk about Polestar. They're bringing out the Polestar 4. It's missing something that virtually every other vehicle, every other sedan, I should say, on the road has. And we'll tell you what that is. It's hard to tell, but we'll tell you what that is. Interesting design element. It was in their concept car for the 4, and it made it into production. So Polestar, certainly an interesting brand. That is the all-electric brand, a part of Volvo, right?
That's right, and very well received. People love them. They're building tons of them.
I see a lot of them around, actually.
I do too.
Yeah.
Which is a good sign.
Hey, so when we come back, we're going to get rolling with this. We'll start off with that Buick vehicle for just $24,000. Fred Staab and Les Jackson, you're on cruise control. Stay tuned and buckle up because we're just getting started.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. This is your automotive, your on-the-air automotive magazine. We've only been saying that for 20 plus years.
Yeah. You'll get
anyway, that's right. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Buick Envista, Envista. Now, it reminds me of the Invicta.
Yes.
Which was a big Buick model many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, they have the Envision.
Right.
Which they've had now for, 5 years or so?
Yeah.
This is a smaller, very attractive crossover.
Yeah, it fits
almost,
between the Encore GX and the Envision, actually. That's what
it's almost car-like.
We'll try to fix that in the next
I
version.
hope I'm not insulting someone at Buick. But it's and the price, I have to say, is very attractive. Starting price $23,495.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what you get for that, but we don't know that.
Yeah, you get 4 wheels and seats and
door locks and stuff.
Yeah, but it's powered again. Don't think the old days. It's powered by a 1.2 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder.
Yeah.
136 horsepower, which is certainly adequate.
Mm-hmm.
162 pound-feet of torque. Should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it's smooth, it should be great.
Now, this is what they call the coupe crossover styling. It somehow 4 doors became coupes, and kind of an SUV-like shape with sort of a rounded roof became a coupe. I don't understand that, but there are a lot of vehicles like this. I believe the BMW 6 Series started out as this. They kind of started that trend. They say give it a, we've talked about this, the long roof line and sleek profile with the high seating is the shape that you're going to see a lot more vehicles shaped like the high belt line.
Well, that's right.
Yeah. Gives you the best of both worlds. It's not a bad looking vehicle at all.
Actually, I will say, I think it's rather attractive.
Has the new logo, new Buick logo without the circle around the 3 shields. It's expected to enter production next month and will be available this summer. The preferred trim is the one that starts at $23,495. Sport Touring starts at $25,195, and the Avenir, which is their top of the range model on any Buick, will be $29,695. So even if you opt for everything, you're still under $30,000. I think you've got to add destination onto that.
Well, but remember, you can negotiate.
Now you can negotiate. So you can get that price down, and it gets 30 miles to the gallon, which is pretty amazing, right? It's
well, that's right.
Not bad at all. So we look forward to driving this thing. Now we were talking about where is it built, because
yes,
Buick builds some of its vehicles in China, right?
And I believe this is China. It's Changwon, which is GM Korea, but it's Changwon, China. So I don't quite know what that means, and I don't know anything about where cities are in China other than Beijing.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to look it up, but it appears to be a Korean-run GM plant in China. Is that possible?
Could be. A lot of Buicks, the smaller crossovers, are South Korean, and then of course the Chevy Trailblazers built in South Korea, and the Envision is built in China itself. So this could be the case, and there's a reason for that. Basically, the Buick brand is huge in China. It remains huge in China. It remains an aspirational brand. Over here, it kind of got ignored for a while. And now, they're putting the product back in the pipeline. And the good thing is, I guess, that it is affordable. But we'll have to see what this drives like. They say, it's
and
I
have to correct myself here.
Mm-hmm.
Changwon is the capital city of Gyeongswangnam-do on the southeast coast of South Korea.
So it is built in South Korea.
So I don't know what China has to do with this, but it's GM Korea and built there along with so many other great cars.
Well, that is the Buick Envista. We'll tell you more about it when we get more details. Right now, we're going to take a break, and Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine, will be coming right back. Fred Staab and Les Jackson, keep it buckled up. Plenty more to go.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. Fred Staab and Les Jackson. Plenty of reveals, Les. We talked about the New York Auto Show not that long ago. We figured, well, maybe it will calm down now. We're heading into summer, heading into Memorial Day. Not so much, right?
Never does. And you'd think we'd learn by now.
It's just year-round.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the vehicles I got to drive, and I know you got to drive it, and we both liked it, was the Kia Stinger. I was on the launch of this vehicle, and at the time, their designer was from Audi, and he wanted to make a vehicle that would compete with Audi, kind of a premium Grand Tourer, 4 doors, lots of power. It's done well for them, but it's going away. It just doesn't fit into their future plans, their future product plans. But they're not going to let it go off into the night quietly, are they?
Well, they're not. The Stinger was always a performance vehicle, personal performance, I guess.
Yeah.
And they're building a tribute model. They're going to have 1,000 of these made. 440 are going to be shipped here.
Yep.
And it's going to have all the goodies, actually a little extra.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting that it's an exclusive steel matte gray color, which wouldn't be my choice.
Yeah, a lot of people like that matte finish, though.
They really do.
Yeah. People get it the wraps to make it look that way. But
That's that's right.
this is the Stinger Tribute Edition. It is offered on the 2023 Stinger GT2, which the GT2 features a 3.3-liter turbocharged V6 and optional all-wheel drive. And it is painted in your choice of Ascot green or the newly available steel matte. And it looks like it's got some major exhaust pipage out the back.
Yes,
As the
it's,
Vice
in
Grip
fact,
garage guy would say.
special exhaust tips,
Yep.
Brembo brakes,
Yep.
side mirrors. I don't get that.
Well, good. That's great.
It's nice to have.
Not,
19-inch wheels. I know you wanted the 20s.
well, it's got 368 horsepower from that
Serious.
turbocharged V6.
Serious power.
8-speed auto. So this is a Grand Tourer. So Tribute Edition rear-wheel drive is $53,390. The Tribute Edition all-wheel drive is $55,590. There's only 440 coming in. Probably it's sold already, I would say.
You won't be able to deal on those.
No, and I think it's probably sold out probably already.
Well, it depends on the demand. You never quite know what's going to happen. I'm sure they probably have a lot of pre-orders.
Yeah. You can get the GT, actually,
cool.
with a 2.5-liter turbo 4, 300 horsepower, which is not shabby either.
It's impressive.
Yeah, out of a 2.5 turbo. But do you think there'll be an electric version of the Stinger?
I would say highly likely.
Mm-hmm. Although, we're going to talk about a little later on in the show, although Volkswagen just brought out the ID.4, which is an electric sedan. It's a midsize sedan.
Yep.
So maybe the sedan will live on. What do you think?
Well, I hope so. I just prefer sedans. They're just nicer to be in. I like the fact that they're lower to the ground. I realize that's mortal sin when you talk to especially younger women who just really want big, tall SUVs. But, there's something for everybody.
Yeah, and there are brands like Genesis, Hyundai's, high-end brand said, hey, we're going to still keep building sedans. The G80, the G70, the G80, and the G90. So
I have the G90 coming next week.
Yeah, I just had the G80 electrified, and I'll have an at-the-wheel review of that coming up. We were just talking about that. We're going to do a special all at-the-wheel review show in a couple of weeks.
Right.
So that will probably be one of them for sure. So
yes, we're going to have a lot of fun with that. We're going to review a lot of new vehicles we've been testing.
Yeah.
So you want to stay tuned for that.
Yeah. But in the
we'll
meantime,
let you know.
In the meantime, let's get started with our next story. It comes from iSeeCars.com. They always have some great information, and it's perfect for the cruise control audience. So we like to always talk about this. They analyzed the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration recalls from 2014 through 2023, and they looked at what were the brands that had the most recalls. Most recall campaigns have over a 30-year lifespan. That's pretty amazing when you think about it, that a 30-year-old car could be recalled, right?
It is amazing, and I applaud NHTSA for doing that, because these things could be dangerous.
Yeah. All right, so let's run down. Let's start positive. Let's start on a positive note. The models with the fewest safety recalls from 2014 on. This is the models. Lexus IS 300, number 10.
Right.
Mercedes-Benz GLC, Mercedes-Benz GLA,
That's good to hear.
Hyundai Elantra GT,
Yep.
Nissan.
The Nissan Z. Now,
That's
there's a car
interesting.
that could be potentially dangerous, but it doesn't have anything in the way of serious recalls.
Mm-hmm. What do you got next?
Lexus RX 450h. Again, no surprise.
Yeah. And then we have Lincoln,
The Mercedes
Mercedes CLA. Yeah.
CLA. Again, excellent vehicle. The Lincoln MKZ hybrid.
Mm-hmm. And then we got the Lexus NX 300H, and interestingly, at the top, Mini convertible. That's interesting.
Mini convertible.
Least recall vehicle from 2014 on. Pretty interesting, right?
Yeah, but now for the bad news.
And we'll only get to a couple of these before the break, but
yeah. Well, shall we start at the top?
well, no, let's start. Let's start at number 10.
Well,
then
ease the. Yes. Interesting. The Ram 1500 Classic.
they're still building that. That's the old generation, right?
Yeah. 20 recalls expected in 30 years.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, but that's nothing. That's nothing, Dr. Staab.
Yes. Next up, the Ram 1500, the more modern version of it.
Yep. Volkswagen Atlas, which surprises me a little bit.
Very popular vehicle.
Yep.
And closely aligned to it, the Atlas Cross Sport, basically the clipped version of it. They've taken the roof and clipped it off a little bit. At number 6, for the most safety recalls, is Lincoln Aviator.
23 expected. By the way, the average is 4 recalls in a 30-year lifetime. So these are not playing well.
Why don't we leave the top 5?
We'll leave the top 5 till after the break, because there's an overall winner.
Yeah. Dominated by one brand.
One brand.
Has got almost exclusively.
Almost all of them.
For the top
It's
5.
like the Ford sweep at Le Mans.
Yeah.
Except in a bad way.
In a bad way. Yeah, it's not. You're not going to get up on the podium and spray the champagne.
Not
around.
likely.
Yeah, so we'll tell you about that. It's the IC cars, vehicles with the most recalls. And that will be coming up. When we come back on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Don't forget, check us out on YouTube. We've got a lot of great content there. And if you want to check out a show that's already aired, you can do that, the podcast, and more. So stay tuned to Cruise Control. We will be right back. Fred Staab, Les Jackson. We are just getting started. Plenty more to come. So don't go away. You don't want to miss it.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control. Well, if you listened before the break, Fred and I were running down the highest recall models, makes and models, and they're, that's something you don't want to buy. So we got through number 6, which was the Lincoln Aviator. We're going to go to 5 to 1 now. It's going to sound a little bit repetitive.
This is from an iccars.com.
And I
just
want to say we've been warning people about this for years. So
yeah.
Well, let me remind people again that the average number of recalls for the average vehicles sold is 4 recalls in 30 years.
Yeah, which is not bad.
Okay, that's not bad.
But this is IC car study, models with the most safety recalls.
Safety recall, that's kind of serious.
Yeah, this is not like, your radio turn off or something.
Or like my Mazda with the spider in the gas tank vent.
Okay, that was a weird one, but
that was a real recall.
Right. All right. So let's start. Top 5 for the most safety recalls
Mm-hmm.
with 26.4 recalls. And by the way, these weren't even around in 2014. So you think about that. Were they around in 2014? By the way,
No. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Teslas?
In 2014, they were.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Tesla Model S, 26.4 recalls over a 30-year lifespan.
Right. And then number 4 is the Tesla Model X
The crossover version.
with 27.3 recalls.
And then you want to get into the electric world, save a little money, get something that's affordable. Well, you could buy a Tesla Model 3 with 56.8.
56.8. We're the ones that showed the photograph of the batteries being held in by zip ties.
That's right. Or the flying roof. Or the wheel that came off.
Many wheels that came
off. Or the
off.
suspension that collapsed.
Bumpers that fall off and
in the rain
hit the car behind.
In the rain, so it rained.
That's right. So, but for a little change of pace, not for long.
Number 2
is the Porsche Panamera. Now, that's a bit of a surprise. Usually Porsches are, pretty well built, but 61 recalls over a 30-year lifetime.
They're just good at building 2-doors. Although they build some pretty nice crossovers too.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about one.
And the winner
is Les.
Gee, what a surprise. The Tesla Model Y with 62.4 recalls. That's 15.6 times the average. Now, I don't know about any individual by name, but it just seems to me, if you're choosing something to buy and you see that it has the highest number of recalls in the industry, plus it has the lowest quality of build rating in the industry, why would you buy it?
I don't know.
Why would you buy it?
I don't know. But they hold 4 out of the top 5 slots for models with the most safety recalls from iccars.com, that study. And that info comes from NHTSA. It's not them testing it. It comes right
That's
from
right.
NHTSA.
That's National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. They're very objective with these things.
Interesting. I found out that they brought out the yoke on the Tesla Model S. Sort of it looks like an airplane yoke, like you're flying an airplane. And it was so unpopular that they now quietly offer to switch back to a regular steering wheel for no additional cost when you buy the vehicle. And
I'm surprised it's no additional cost.
Well, if you want to swap it after the fact, it's a $2,000 cost.
There it is.
And that sold out in 4 days. So, and not only is the yoke weird to drive, but it wears out prematurely. Even the one they have at the Peterson Museum, the yoke is worn off. It looks like a car that's got like 100,000 miles on it, but it sat in the sun and things started to deteriorate. So they are upgrading this, but why didn't they do that in the first place? This is, like GM, Ford, Kia, they would just subject this thing to a harsh environment and test it, right?
Back in the late 70s, when American car quality was just in the absolute pits, a GM marketing person was quoted as saying, when asked about, and I don't know the name of the person, but when asked about, well, these things just aren't well made, and they break down a lot. And his response was, it doesn't matter. GM can put its logo on a brick and people will buy it.
Yeah. How'd that work out?
How'd that work out?
They're still digging themselves out of that hole, aren't they?
They're still, yes, they still are.
I have to find out who said that, because we always quote that. And is it real? That would be a good story to find out. But I tell you what, if I was the CEO and a marketing guy said that, I'd say, see me in my office immediately.
Absolutely, and pack up all your
Yeah,
things.
bring some cardboard boxes because you're gonna need them.
That's right. Yeah,
That's a terrible thing to say.
and let me give you a Tesla to go home in.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right. Well, there you have that. That's an interesting study. But you want to talk a little tech?
Boy.
This is different tech.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is just so, off to the side that it appeals to me, but not in a way I'd want to buy it.
Well, it's interesting. I was not aware of Hyundai Mobis. Hyundai Mobis is part of the Hyundai Motor Group. That is the technology division that they're going to sell the technology to other manufacturers, right? I was unaware of this, but it's very interesting. So they've come up, obviously, everything's a big screen. And I know you are sometimes off put by the screens that stand proud, like it looks like someone Velcroed a tablet
Yes,
to the
I
dashboard.
I find them an unattractive distraction.
Okay, and
Just me.
screens are getting bigger, and
Yep.
we just saw we will see the Nautilus in the second hour of the show, how they have a screen that goes from one side of the vehicle to the other. So they're getting bigger and bigger. Remember, there were GM models where the whole screen retracted into the dashboard, and it would go down. There'd be lots of motor noise and stuff like
right.
that. Well, what Hyundai Mobis is doing, and some of these things were shown at CES. There's retractable televisions, because now you can take the screen and roll it up like a window shade. And so when it's not in use, it just retracts and rolls up like a window shade into the dash. And Hyundai Mobis is showing this roll-up display for cars where it would just basically go into the dash and roll down into a roller. And it could be used for a lot of different things. It could be a touch screen, believe it or not, that rolls up. It could be a larger screen for, let's say, when you're parked. You could watch movies and things like that. It would open up, but it would roll away. They feel that this could be future technology built into a car. Now, let's face it, this is not a roll-up television sitting in your climate-controlled house out of the sunlight,
That's right.
with 70-degree weather. This is something that it's going to be blasted with sun and temperatures up to 140 degrees or really cold weather. So this will have to be engineered very well to survive for at least 10 years.
Well, it does, and it locks down when the car is moving, so you can't,
Have a screen
cover
in
your
front of your
windshield
face.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think I don't really think it's going to be kind of hidden away in the dash. I think it's going to be a bit of a bulge.
Okay.
And I worry about things like that being reliable for a long period.
Yeah. Well, so far, no manufacturers confirmed using this. But I think it's an interesting group, Hyundai Mobis. I mean, if you don't know, Hyundai does so many things that you're not really aware of. Do you know they're the biggest seller of tractor-trailer trailers, dry boxes? I did not know that.
Yeah, I remember seeing that recently. It's amazing.
Yeah. So there you have it. Stuff you didn't know, and now you do because you listen to Cruise Control. We're glad you do. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk about the Polestar 4. It's got something, well, it's actually missing something that other cars have. We'll tell you what it is when we come back.
Cruise control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. Fred and I are very anxious to talk about the new Polestar 4. As they call it, a new breed of SUV coupe.
Yeah, this is the shape, though, isn't it, Les? It's got the high belt line, the swoopy. Yep. It's got four doors, but they call it a coupe.
Well, that's right, but you will have to admit it looks coupe-ish. If you forget about the door seams, it looks like a coupe. Huge wheels.
Oh, yeah. This was basically the Precept concept car come to life. They had something called the Precept a while back, and this is the production version. And we've been teasing this, and you look at it, you can't really tell.
It's tough to when you look at the pictures, but
something is missing.
You notice something, but you don't know what it is.
There's no back window.
No back window.
Yeah. So
wow.
They do have a rear view mirror that is replaced by a high definition screen that shows a real time feed from the roof mounted rear camera. Fairly common. I mean, the Corvette does that because it's difficult to see out of the back window, and many other cars do that.
You can buy those aftermarket for your car.
Yeah, peel and stick.
Not the rear window, but the video
camera.
Screen.
Yeah. So, but they wanted to. Polestar said they wanted to make this a kind of a personalized space. And that's why they haven't put the rear window in it. I guess there's no law that you need a rear window, is there? You don't have them on trucks. You don't have it on a box truck. I thought there was.
There are laws about obscuring the rear window with stickers.
Right, or heavy
and you can get ticketed if you've piled up all your luggage back there. Mm-hmm. But that could be, you can't obscure a window if there's a window there.
Okay. But here it's just a black piece of trim. Yeah. They wanted rear occupants to have a unique experience in the SUV coupe.
Which I say is claustrophobia. That's the experience they want. They want, anxiety attack. I guess you just wouldn't notice it.
Yeah, I would have to sit in it and see what it's like. I mean, you do have side windows that open, so that's a good thing. They built this Polestar 4 with more circular and low carbon materials, replacing traditional solutions. Greater supply chain transparency, so that's great to know. And then they have some new interior materials, including a tailored knit textile that consists of 100% recycled PET. That's drinking bottles, right? Plastic.
Yeah, polyester.
Bottles. Yeah. And along with bioattain microtech vinyl and animal welfare secured Napa leather upholsteries. Interesting, some of the new they call it vegan leather, but it's really vinyl. Some of the new vinyl products are pretty nice, aren't they?
It's beautiful.
Softex is one that comes to mind.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having that in a vehicle, and it's pretty durable and pretty cool that it's made of recycled things. Inlay carpets in the interior are made of recycled PET as well, which they also have floor carpets are made of eco-nylon, which is reclaimed fishing nets. And specific door panel trims are made from NFPP, natural fiber polypropylene. So 50% less virgin plastic being used. Hey, that's a good thing. And a weight savings of up to 40%.
Which is great.
Yeah. So what can we tell you about it? 0 to 62 sprint can be completed in 3.8 seconds. It's got 544 horsepower. And It has a 102 kilowatt hour battery that is fitted to both long range versions. The targeted range is 350 miles. It is
Which
all-wheel
is
drive.
serious.
So it will disconnect, a clutch will disconnect the front electric motor when not needed for additional range. It has up to 200 kilowatt DC and 22 kilowatt AC charging. That's included in all versions. It has bi-directional charging, so vehicle-to-load capability. It looks like an incredible version.
Well,
vehicle,
that's
I
right.
should say.
And of course, it's fitted with Volvo's famous safety equipment. 12 cameras,
12.
which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, you can start your own TV network with 12 cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1,400 watt channel hybrid amplifier with 2 additional headrest speakers. Is that enough for you, Les?
That might be a little much.
Yeah. And what's interesting too, since I have a Volvo right now, an XC60, they're doing away with they give you Apple CarPlay but no Android Auto because Google is integrated right into the car. So you don't have to project your phone on the screen. Google comes right up. So if you want Google Maps, it's there right away. You don't have to plug your phone in. It's
That's nice.
Part of the car.
That's real nice.
It's actually very interesting. It's to the point where they supplied a sheet with this Volvo to explain it. But this is the same thing. We're going to see this in GM and other groups too. So look for that. They have a pilot pack available, which includes Pilot Assist and its extended features. They have an electrochromatic glass roof available, which will go opaque at the push of a button. So great technology. They expect a full-scale launch, first in China, November 2023, and then a full-scale launch in other markets, including Europe and North America, in early 2024. It's a pretty darn sporty-looking vehicle and got a lot of interesting tech there. I look forward to driving it. How about you?
And they're expecting it to be about 60,000 euros.
Okay.
Not cheap.
Not cheap, but
there's more expensive stuff.
Yeah, it will be built well. That's the key. When you get in there, it will actually. It comes from a car company. Parts don't fall off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it won't have 60 recalls.
It's engineered. Yeah.
Yeah.
So very safe. I have to see why about the rear window. Once again, I don't know. Was that needed? Would it be better to have a rear window? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the big screen electric cars. When I drove this G80 electrified, one of the things I liked about it, the Genesis G80 electrified, was the controls were like a regular gas-powered car.
Yep.
There was no big screen other than the typical infotainment screen. There was no tablet-style thing. I don't need that per se. I like the electric experience, but I don't need all the controls to be on a tablet. I think that means every interior looks the same. It's a computer screen hanging on the dashboard.
Gets gadgety.
Yeah, gadgety, and frankly, I don't think it's easy when there's not a dedicated button when you're driving along at 60 miles an hour and you want to, go into recirc mode. I don't need to
then you have to go,
Anyway, just my opinion. What's yours? Give us a comment. But we appreciate you listening to Cruise Control Radio. We'll see you down the road.